The common mode rejection ratio CMRR is defined by AADAC, BACAD, CADAC, DADAC. The correct answer is ADAC. Is the unit for the slew rate SR, AVMS, BMSV, CV, DVS? The correct answer is VMS. An operational amplifier has an input impedance and an output impedance. A high-low, B high-high, C low-low, D low-high. The correct answer is high-low. Inverting amplifier connection is more widely used because it has A higher gain, B better frequency stability, C unit gain, D none of the above. The correct answer is none of the above. An operational amplifier is a gain and bandwidth differential amplifier. A very low narrow, B low wide, C medium narrow, D very high wide. The correct answer is very high wide. The ratio of the unity gain frequency to the cutoff frequency is numerically equal to the level of A CMRR, B common mode gain, C closed loop gain, D open loop gain. The correct answer is closed loop gain. In double-ended differential input operation, an input is applied between the two input terminals. Two separate signals are applied to the input terminals. C either an input is applied between the two input terminals or two separate signals are applied to the input terminals. D none of the above. The correct answer is either an input is applied between the two input terminals or two separate signals are applied to the input terminals. If two opposite polarity input signals are applied, the operation is referred to as A double-ended, B single-ended, C common mode, D all of the above. The correct answer is double-ended. If the same input is applied to both inputs, the operation is called A double-ended, B single-ended, C common mode, D all of the above. The correct answer is common mode. In a differential amplifier circuit, if an input signal is applied to either input with the other input connected to ground, the operation is referred to as A double-ended, B single-ended, C common mode, D all of the above. The correct answer is single-ended. Ideally, the value of the CMRR is practically the value of CMRR, the better the circuit operation. A0 smaller, B infinite larger, C0 larger, D infinite smaller. The correct answer is infinite larger. As the frequency increases, the input impedance of an op-amp and the output impedance, A increases, B increases, decreases, C decreases, D decreases, increases. The correct answer is decreases. When both input signals are the same, a common signal element due to the two inputs can be defined as the of the two signals. A difference, B sum, C average of the sum, D product. The correct answer is average of the sum. The feedback component of an integrator is an A resistor, B capacitor, C inductor, D diode. The correct answer is capacitor. A differential amplifier is particularly well suited for battery operation due to its low power consumption. A by FET, B by MOS, C MOS, D BJT. The correct answer is MOS. The maximum frequency at which an op-amp may operate depends on the A bandwidth BW, B slew rate SR, C unity gain bandwidth, D all of the above. The correct answer is all of the above. An IC unit containing a differential amplifier built using both bipolar and FET transistors is referred to as a circuit. A. MOS. B. By FET. C. By MOS. D. None of the above. The correct answer is by FET. An ideal op-amp circuit has input impedance, output impedance, and voltage gain. A. 0 infinite infinite. B. Infinite 0 0. C. 0 0 infinite. D. Infinite 0 infinite. The correct answer is infinite 0 infinite. An IC unit containing a differential amplifier built using opposite-type MOSFET transistors is referred to as a circuit. A. MOS. B. By FET. C. By MOS. D. None of the above. The correct answer is MOS. An input applied to either input terminal will result in A. Outputs from both output terminals which have opposite polarities. B. Outputs from both output terminals which have the same polarities. C. A single output from one of the output terminals. D. None of the above. The correct answer is outputs from both output terminals which have opposite polarities. As the supply voltage increases, the voltage gain of the circuit and the power consumption. A. Increases increases. B. Increases decreases. C. Decreases decreases. D. Decreases increases. The correct answer is increases increases. The output signal of an op-amp is out of phase with its input signal connected to the inverting input terminal. A. 0. B. 90. C. 180. D. 270. The correct answer is 180. The output offset voltage is determined by A. The input offset voltage and input offset current. B. The closed loop gain. C. Both the input offset voltage and the closed loop gain. D. None of the above. The correct answer is the input offset voltage and input offset current. In a differential connection, the signals that are opposite at the inputs are amplified and those that are common to the two inputs are amplified. A. Slightly slightly. B. Slightly highly. C. Highly highly. D. Highly slightly. The correct answer is highly slightly. The amplifier is the most widely used constant gain amplifier circuit. A. Inverting. B. Non-inverting. C. Differential. D. None of the above. The correct answer is inverting. The main feature of the differential amplifier is the gain when opposite signals are applied to the inputs as compared to the gain resulting from common inputs. A. Very large large. B. Very small large. C. Very small very large. D. Very large very small. The correct answer is very large very small. A. PLL can be used as an A. Series voltage regulator. B. Frequency multiplier. C. Relaxation oscillator. D. Schmitt trigger. The correct answer is frequency multiplier. Common mode signals have A. The same amplitude. B. The same phase. C. The same frequency. D. All of the above. The correct answer is all of the above. A circuit that has an output equal to the algebraic sum of the inputs is called an A. Integrator amplifier. B. Summing amplifier. C. Differential amplifier. D. Voltage multiplier. The correct answer is summing amplifier. Switching voltage regulators have then linear regulators. A. Longer life. B. Simpler circuitry. C. Greater efficiency. D. Lower cost. The correct answer is greater efficiency. A. Is not a multivibrator. A. One shot. B. Flip-flop. C. VCO. D. Bistable. The correct answer is 1 short. An op-amp circuit in which the output voltage is equal to the difference between the two input voltages is called an A. integrator, B. differentiator, C. differential amplifier, D. voltage regulator. The correct answer is differential amplifier. The Q of a crystal. A is extremely low. B is about 40 or so in most cases. C is extremely high. D. none of the above. The correct answer is extremely high. The 555 timer can be connected to operate an A. astable multivibrator, B. bistable multivibrator, C. monostable multivibrator, D. astable multivibrator and a monostable multivibrator. The correct answer is astable multivibrator and a monostable multivibrator. The voltage required to force the differential output to zero is called A. input offset current, B. input offset voltage, C. input bias current, D. slew rate voltage. The correct answer is input offset voltage. If the input to a comparator is a sine wave, the output is an A. ramp voltage, B. sine wave, C. sawtooth wave, D. rectangular wave. The correct answer is rectangular wave. The common mode rejection ratio CMMR is the ratio of two A. the differential voltage gain, the common mode voltage gain, B. the differential power gain, the common mode power gain, C. the ideal voltage gain, the actual voltage gain, D. signal voltage noise voltage. The correct answer is the differential voltage gain, the common mode voltage gain. A virtual ground is an ground because this point is at 0 volts. A. ordinary, B. voltage, C. chassis, D. earth. The correct answer is voltage. The resistors RF and RI in an op-amp circuit control A. positive feedback and current gain, B. negative feedback and power gain, C. negative feedback and voltage gain, D. open and closed loop gain. The correct answer is negative feedback and voltage gain. Is not a characteristic of an ideal op-amp. A. infinite voltage gain, B. minimum bandwidth, C. infinite input impedance, D. zero output impedance. The correct answer is minimum bandwidth. Current cannot flow to ground through an A. mechanical ground, B. AC ground, C. virtual ground, D. virtual short. The correct answer is virtual ground. An oscillator whose frequency can be controlled by an input control voltage is called an A. PLL, B. Schmitt trigger, C. VCO, D. SR latch. The correct answer is VCO.